Oh shit.
Na 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 dead
Yeah.
bird.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the All Killer No Filler podcast, where it is I, Jeff, Sam.
Madison?
Sam, say words.
Oh, words. Hi, I'm Sam.
Hello.
And Madison. We're just a few friends who like reading comic books, learning. I mean, not reading so much. I'm kind of illiterate, but we still like things that have to do with comics, and we like talking about them. So we're gonna make you listen.
Yep, you're gonna go tie them all down, make sure they're
Yes,
yeah, okay, cool.
each and every one of you people, because I care. Right.
I love that we have a picture of Jeff like looming around a corner that we can use for this too.
Oh my god. Oh, that was fun. That was a good one. Oh, it was yesterday. I had nothing to do. Lewis was busy working in the whatever. I'm not gonna get into it. It's too much. It's too much of these people. All right, they don't know me. They don't know what I'm about yet. They gotta learn.
Picture are you talking about?
Don't worry about it.
I'll send it to you.
Okay.
So to kick things off, I guess we are going to be talking about just the the world's greatest detective, who is also the world's most overrated fucking superhero, in my opinion. I'm kidding, not really. But yes, the Batman. Phenomenal 3 hour.
Is overrated, but
It's okay to be wrong.
Yes, phenomenal 3 hours of just sitting there watching him just deprive himself of sleep, but also something in the way playing in the background the whole time. I mean, I was very into it.
No.
no, yeah, that was towards the end of that movie. I was very much like, when is he gonna sleep? He's making me tired right now. I think that
Batman
was the
never
whole.
sleeps.
I mean, and that was obviously the whole point that they were trying to get to at the end too, is that, a hero never sleeps type of thing, or a savior. He was basically being referenced as Jesus at the end there. So
Okay, fun take.
he was. I mean, they were making the whole, you have this many days, like the whole movie took place over a course of like a week. So, the whole God making the earth in 7 days. And this is not an idea from myself, so I will not take credit for me putting this together, and I wish I could remember the guy that we watched on YouTube that kind of made this correlation, but it really did make sense, and I could definitely see it because I felt it at the end of like, what are they trying to portray here with Batman at the end of like becoming this righteous hero in a way that I personally, for someone who doesn't read a lot of the comics, especially with Batman, was like, I've never seen this side of Batman. He usually is someone who doesn't, he's very much like in the shadows. He pops up, takes care of business, and hides again. So at the end there, he was really a figure, becoming like a public figure of taking care of business and being the hero instead of just a straight up vigilante. Like at the end, he was really being revered as the savior. And I just thought I personally liked that. It made me like Batman more just with that whole take at the end.
Yeah, no, it's great to have a more public-facing Batman, especially after. I'm not going to get into it, but I do.
Shut your goddamn mouth.
I do have to put out a disclaimer that I have a bias because I did not like the Nolan trilogy as Batman movies. They're good movies, but I don't like his take on Batman. So having this was a very, very refreshing kickstart to a new franchise, and I'm very excited to see where it goes, especially with the amount of character development that they put into just this one movie, taking him from being selfish, very selfish in trying to stop crimes for himself to feel better about his parents' murder to literally saving the city. Yep. And then deciding to save it both as Batman and as Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, his eyes were really opened in this movie in a way that I feel like they've never really portrayed. And that really came through to me. And really drew me into the character even more. And just for us less educated in this realm of things, when you say Nolan, you're talking about the Christian Bale series, correct?
Did I say Nolan?
Or isn't that what he said? What did you say?
Oh, Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan.
Madison. Nolan is one of our clients.
He's one of our clients. That's why I was like, I know you said Nolan, definitely. But yeah, you're talking about the Christian Bale, right? Those movies?
Yes.
Okay, just wanted to make sure that I was referencing the same thing, and anyone who's not as familiar with the names of people would be able to reference that as well.
Yep.
Cool.
Good catch.
With your whole thing, Madison, I just want to say you definitely be the coolest youth pastor ever.
What is that?
I don't know. I'm just saying that's what I got from.
This the vibe I'm putting off?
Yep.
Oh, is it because I was talking about Jesus?
Absolutely.
Well, I thought it was a very interesting thing that this guy put together. I was like, you know what? Shit, that is kind of what they did with him. And I was, it really resonated with me at the end of like, he is this savior in the public eye. People are actually gonna like know and like Batman kind of in the way of Iron Man, which makes me like Iron Man, which is why I kind of have this beef with Batman. And, I'm sure it's a normal thing. And Sam and I have talked about this before, and I'm sure plenty of other people have had that discussion. But I don't know. It just made me really like him.
I gotta wonder with that. Hold on. I mean, I'll get into my whole thing on the Batman. Hey, it was great. Love what Matt Reeves done with the character. I liked that it was a year two Batman. Like, it wasn't the guy who's been in Gotham for 15, 20 years already.
Yeah.
And he's, there was no parent killing scene in the beginning. There was no exposition on everybody else. It was just, it dropped you into the world of Gotham, what was happening right then and there, and shit, you detracted me. You know what? I'm gonna go into it. I'm gonna get into it. What's the thing with Batman and Iron Man?
Oh, yeah. Just, I've never been too much of. I didn't get the hype over Batman so much, just because I come from, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So everyone is so powerful in that universe. So then you go over to Batman, and I'm like, how could he ever compare to his most comparable person in the Marvel world, which would be Iron Man? I was like, the charisma. No, I know, but like they have basically their powers are kind of the same, with just being really smart, attention to detail, and absolute rich fucks, right? So with all their cool gadgets and toys that they can afford or make. So they're very linked in that sense. But yes, I recognize they're very different characters, but even just looking at their pure like strength and ability, I had a hard time of liking Batman, plus his personality not being too attractive to me in regards to him being so brooding. It's like kind of too melodramatic for me. But this portrayal of him is something I've never seen before, and I really liked it. So, because I agree with you, Jeff, of how you're saying the whole take on it of it being a baby Batman. He's new to the whole thing. He's figuring out that he was doing the crime fighting for a selfish reason, like Sam said. And so he's able to open his eyes, and now it is really exciting what they'll hopefully do with him in the future, because he'll just be such a, I don't know, he'll just be, they made such a good base of a good character of a Batman, because he'll be learning continuously and just become more and more wise and more hero-y to me. I feel like he's never even been that hero-y. Like, his I don't know.
No, that is an interesting. Oh, that's an interesting, very interesting thing to bring up, because a lot of people will say, "Hey, Batman's my favorite hero, of all time." But like,
I know
most of the stuff I know about Batman, he doesn't quite do a lot of. I mean, he does heroic things. He is a hero, yes, but there's just something about him. There's just something in the way.
Yeah, like he's definitely a hero, but
and he's a huge, but like, because from what I know of Bruce Wayne, from what I take from his stories, Bruce Wayne is a giant piece of shit.
Yeah,
and I
man.
I hate to come out of the gate hot like that, but he's not great. And with this, yes, the Batman, of course, what he's going to learn and know. Like, sure, he'll become a better hero for Gotham, but he'll also that also will is a double-edged sword because it will make him more jaded, more distrusting, like more willing to use people as tools to further, his means or his investigation or his mission.
For sure.
Like,
To a
like,
point.
I mean,
like when,
that just happens to
oh,
all heroes, really, right? I mean, most heroes become so jaded from seeing such evil all the time, and it can become hard, especially Gotham. Oh my God, I would be depressed as fuck living in that shithole.
oh, yeah, it'd be dope. What?
I'm
Freaking
not walking
super
around that motherfucker.
goddamn, super goddamn, just super gangsters running around all the time.
As long as
They're
I
doing
can
stuff with
be
money.
the Penguin, I'm
I would not want to
coolin'.
be that.
Yeah,
Oh my
no,
god.
I'm gonna be the
that's not
penguin.
it.
Oh my God, I love how they made him waddle, and I loved how at the end they made the reference to him looking over the flooded Gotham like a penguin, because penguins can swim, and Gotham's flooded, and now he taken over the bitch because the other top gangster got killed. And I'm like, hell
Yes,
yeah.
Falcone. Yeah.
That's a sick reference to fucking penguins, because I love penguins.
I was kind of
Yeah.
bummed that the Iceberg Lounge wasn't what it is like a floating casino that looks like an iceberg and is sometimes
Mm.
just an iceberg sitting in Gotham Harbor.
I mean, that's pretty sick too, because
Yeah, that'd be
it's a
amazing.
fucking penguin.
You see
Hopefully
that?
he does that in the upcoming movies.
That would be
You
dope.
see, yeah, that would be dope. But also, that would, I don't know. They do this thing, and they've been doing the thing since Christopher Nolan, where people want to make Batman stories a lot more grounded, and so that kind of takes away the fantastical aspect of the character. Like, next
Yeah.
one, you're not going to see him fighting like a super cool metahuman. He's going to be fighting probably another gangster, or I don't know, someone with some weirdly believable but super advanced tech.
Yeah, I mean, Batman doesn't really. I don't want to say he doesn't deal with metahumans, but most of his villains are human and flawed humans.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like Killer Croc isn't a metahuman; he's a human being with a skin condition that evolved into. Well, in some cases, he kind of evolves into a crocodile, but like he was just a kid in a freak show, and he
Yeah,
actually got tied into Nightwing
yeah.
as having seen or having been like rented to Haley's circus or something like that. But what I'm
Contracted.
actually saying is, what I'm trying to say
Rented.
is, no, he was basically sold to the circus by I think his
Oh.
grandma.
Oh.
Because it's a tragic story, and most of these
See what
villains
I
do
mean?
have.
This whole side of stuff is just so tragic. Everybody's background's so sad. Everybody's so sad boy over on this side of everything with Batman. And I just, that's why I don't really fuck with it too much.
Well,
Wait, Killer Croc's not a metahuman?
I don't believe so. I could be wrong. And
It'd be cooler if he was.
nah,
I love Crocodile.
if we ever get into the Injustice books for this show, we'll definitely have to go over Killer Croc and Orca's wedding because that was interesting.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say is that Batman deals with things that are way out. He punches way above his weight, and he doesn't have to, I don't know, rely on magic or a whole lot of tech to really even the playing field. It's a cerebral battle for him to figure out how these people work
And
then
drugs. He
that
shot some adrenaline.
actually,
That's not recreational drug use.
It's
yeah,
a drug.
definitely.
Drug enhancement.
Well, he stopped himself from passing out, but
No, I know.
actually saw
It's medical. It's medical.
I think it was the YouTube channel Screen Crush, which I really like breakdown videos. I believe it was Screen Crush. They supposed that the drug being green was actually Miracolo, which is what the Justice Society member Our Man uses to gain his hour of power. And that is actually a precursor to Bane's venom. So
Okay, yes, I did see that theory online.
that would be interesting. I don't know if I would really want a fourth on-screen Bane in. Well, I don't want to tie
Wait,
into the
what? Have
question.
there been four? I thought there was only
There's been three.
two, three? Wait,
Yeah,
have there been three?
I'm counting Gotham because they
Oh,
pulled in Bane like last second for no reason.
Where else is Bane?
The Christopher Nolan movie.
Yes.
And then was it Joel Schumacher? Yeah, he did Batman
yeah.
and Robin, where
I've seen a lot of.
was basically a Pokemon.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of. There's been like I guess, a renaissance for Schumacher's movies. Uh, people like they love the campiness of those movies. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why. I mean, they are fun to watch. I guess that's it. That's it. Yeah, they are fun to watch. They're not going to be like your favorite Batman things ever, but they are fun to watch.
Yeah, no, I don't actively hate anything. I did hate the Dark Knight Rises as I left the theater. But I've grown, I've matured, I've accepted it for what it is. Any iteration of Batman is enjoyable if you just take it for what it is.
Yeah.
Like Batman Ninja, we hated that. But we watched it dubbed and we're expecting like a Batman story with anime creators instead of anime creators doing what they want with Batman, which obviously would have been more fun.
Ooh, okay. Hold on. That gives me like something I was thinking about just a couple of days ago. That's interesting because I feel like a lot of people don't quite recognize when stuff like that happens. Like not like, oh, this this artist or this writer doing a Batman story. No, like it's whatever being interpreted. God damn it. I lost my train of thought.
You got it, Jeff.
Uh, it's a writer, the writer or author or whatever artist doing what they want with the character, and a lot of people they get like up in their own ass about it, and because I don't know they want to be these Batman purists, and it's like it's just annoying because they'll have opinions of like that's not how Batman should be. It's like, dude, like that's just it's this person's view or vision for this character. Like you still have your stories that you like in your popular canon, whatever. That's all good for you. But like, I mean, it's discrediting something for the sake of discrediting it because you don't like it because it's not a story that you are into.
Okay, so to build off of that, that's actually what what this podcast is more or less about is finding stories that we like for characters like this. It's acknowledging that Elseworld stories are stories that take place in different realities or outside of the main canon. They exist and that they're worth reading, and that my main beef right now with DC is that they're trying so hard to change everything that I think they're losing track of some of the values of some of the legacy characters, and I have sort of lost interest on top of being very, very busy with work and school this semester. I've really fallen off of the main series titles. I'm only reading 2 or 3, and I'm actively keeping up with maybe 1 or 2 of those. But to build off what you're saying, Jeff, I agree with where you're coming from. I think that artists and writers should be able to make their own mark on these characters, but I don't like it when the artists in question come in and try to make their mark in permanence. Does that make sense?
And permanence, like with a specific canon story that's running?
Yeah. So I really don't want to bring up the name, but
All
Brian
right. I
Michael
mean,
Bendis.
oh, geez, here we go.
Brian
Fucking
Michael Bendis jumped ship from Marvel, and when he left, everybody that I guess was reading, I think the Avengers at the time was like, oh, okay, cool, so we can actually get back to like normal character interactions and plots and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's kind of a weird take. Everybody was really hyped for him to come over, and then I think 5 issues, I want to say 5 issues into the new Brian Michael Bendis written Superman story, I realized that he was writing these characters in a way that was there were hard shifts in people's characters and like morals that didn't make any sense. And I'm sure it ended up being an interesting story because he's a talented writer. He created Miles Morales, and he's written some really cool stuff. But he came in, and I don't know if it was the clout that got to him or if DC gave him too much leniency or what, but he took Lois Lane and Clark Kent Superman's relationship to a really, really weird place, and just everything about it just turned me off from Superman. And I absolutely loved the Superman story up until his takeover. It was going in great places. They decided that Dr. Manhattan saved Jor-El from the explosion of Krypton and manipulated him into doing some crazy shit. Like, it was going real crazy, doing some really fun stuff that was going to tie into Doomsday Clock, which obviously would have been another universal reset. But he just kind of took the characters, like a kid at the playground. He took his action figures and went home, and it kind of derailed everything that DC was setting up at that point. And he decided that the destruction of Krypton wasn't society's failure, but a new monster that he created that just destroyed Krypton because he could. Is just very strange.
Okay.
Yeah, it
Well
just
then,
sounds like they try to revamp something, and instead of everyone who was originally part of the project and had an idea of where it needed to go, it sounds like the management was a little bad, because I feel like if you had an actual plan of where everything was leading up to, and you have a new writer, and you go, hey, bro, you can have your take on it, but like, this is the direction we're going, and if you just keep it somewhat in line, that would be fantastic. But you're right, it sounds like he probably was just like, I've had these ideas for so long, let me do this with these characters.
Yeah, exactly.
so Sam, would you say that you might have a vendetta against Bendis?
Oof.
All right, you heard that? He said yes. Yo, Brian Michael Bendis, we got your number, kid. It's on site. Yo, if Sam sees you out there, better not be writing nothing.
I'll say, like,
He's coming.
I acknowledge his talent and I acknowledge what he's done for comics, but I do not like his take on just about anything that he's done for DC. Respectfully, like,
What did he do with Marvel? So it can be a comparative thing.
I don't know a whole lot. I think he jumped on to Ultimate Spider-Man after I fell off of that series. But I know he wrote The Death of Peter Parker and ultimately introduced or created and introduced Miles Morales. That's his big deal.
Ooh. Ooh. All right. I am just gonna intersect. Ha ha ha, because guess what? We don't follow rules here. With that, I do want to break into the what I was talking about, Spider-Man, because that came out. I don't think we all had like a conversation about Spider-Man actually, but yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we did. I don't think we really dissected it. I know a few of us kind of stood around at the theater, but I know you weren't there, Jeff, so I'd like to hear what you think.
Oh, I mean, it was great. I mean, hey, it was entertaining. It was
Yes.
like this, like it. The story was it. It's hard. It's hard for me to kind of articulate the how that made me feel seeing, like, because it wasn't Peter fighting bad guys. It was him actually trying to help them. They're actually
Yes.
making use of Peter's fucking brain finally. Because my opinion for the MCU, for the majority of the movies that he's been in, they legit just made him stupid.
Yeah. They haven't really in this take on this Spider-Man, they haven't delved too much into his scientificness. He hasn't really innovated much, and hasn't shown him being too savvy. So yeah, I agree. This one made him it showed him using his brain more. Um, and you're right. The take on him not really fighting the bad guys but helping them I really liked that as well. And then obviously just seeing all the guys together, so nice. And it's
Yeah, because I mean,
hilarious. Oh, I love a hilarious action film.
absolutely.
So good.
Yeah, it's like the Peter Parkers that we've gone on screen, Toby and Andrew, they're great. And yeah, they did try to do the same thing. They tried to help the villains that they had in their respective films, but
Hmm.
the way the writing went was just like, no, I don't want your help. I want to be a supervillain. Ah, ha, ha,
Yeah.
I like my mustache twirly.
ha.
I had a
Oh
lot
my
of
God.
fun with
Oh
it.
wait,
Oh, go ahead.
hold on. Before you start, I do want to say, fucking Willem Dafoe. He he is owed some fucking flowers for that shit. He
Yeah,
crushed it in that fucking
yeah,
movie.
I love
so good.
him.
I was so genuinely like sad and like, oh, in the beginning. And I still am like, I'm not 100% sure if he even was Goblin until he actually had that scene where he, smashed the face mask in, the helmet. If before when he was talking with May and everything, that was actually him or if it was Goblin. But yeah, oh my God, his acting was phenomenal in that.
Yeah, the only thing I have to say about that is never, ever, ever trust Norman Osborn.
Yeah.
Never.
Well, even in hit before he had the Goblin, which I think is why the Goblin was in him all along. It's kind of like the Hulk thing, where he had some nice characteristics, but I think in him all along he was kind of evil. He's
Just
just like
pulling the
some
con.
rich, yeah, it's just some army guy who needs to benefit off. Well, he's a scientist benefiting off of war. So that kind of is, doesn't always lead to good things, especially when it comes to medical advances. So I think he kind of had it in him the whole time.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I would agree with
yeah,
that statement. Don't trust Norman Osborn.
yeah. I think the Goblin Serum in the Raimi movies really exacerbates all of your characteristics. So that kind of two-faced thing really got pulled out of him there. And I want to say they refined it for Spider-Man 3. Like I think that was the excuse that they gave for Harry not going crazy but also still sort of resenting Peter at the same time.
Oh,
It was like he was still human because if he resented Peter, he would want to kill him. You know what I mean?
right,
If the Goblin Serum really amped him up the way it did his dad.
I mean,
right, yeah, yeah,
oh, I see what you're saying. I see what you're
yeah.
saying. Yeah.
It was refined enough to where like he still he got all the buffs from it, but like he didn't. It
He didn't
wasn't
get any of the
straight
demons.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't. It wasn't like straight up animosity. Like he was still on a revenge kick,
Yeah. It
but
wasn't
not to the
strength plus
point.
10, intelligence minus 20.
And with the great directing and producing ability of Marvel Cinematic Universe, they make such a great funny film and at the same time just rip your heart out because that movie made me very sad as well. Like
What?
incredibly sad
No,
several times.
no
So,
way.
and I think it just might be Tom Holland and the fact that he's just an adorable, sweet little boy, and you're just like, it's okay, come here.
He's like the same
So,
age as you.
I know, but in Spider-Man, he's younger than me, so he portrays a sweet little innocent child so well.
He's a
But
fantastic actor. He did a great
he's,
job.
oh my God, he's so good. But, it's sad. It's sad that to think about that. So my biggest fear is to be alone. And that's what he did. He sacrificed him just being alone. he's now alone. I mean, he's got to start all over again, which, I mean, he's got a great personality, so I'm sure that'll go fine. But that's just like, that's so heart-wrenching. Your Aunt May died, that's your only family, and now your friends who are kind of your secondary only family, and no one remembers you, and it's just, that's so sad, and that just like really touched me personally, because I was like, biggest fear, don't ever want to be alone. And so that whole scenario was like, that is not ideal. It was better to have gotten snapped out of this universe.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god.
I'd so rather the snapping than so rather the finger.
Oh.
The snapping of the fingers over just everyone not knowing who I am that I love dearly. That's heartbreaking.
That, to me, though, is the epitome of Spider-Man.
Yes.
That's kind of how it goes. That movie was based off of a very poorly received storyline that takes place after Civil War, where I think Aunt May gets shot because he, revealed his identity during Civil War in favor of the Superhero Registration Act.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, oh shit, I know that kid. I'm going to go, shoot his grandma or his aunt.
Oh my god.
Obviously, that's not true. It's not that simple. I think it was a villain, but I don't remember who, so I'm not going to point fingers.
I mean, to be honest, that's a very accurate depiction of real-world scenario, though.
Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
I remember. I'm trying to remember. I do remember hearing about that, yes. Civil War, and after Civil War, Aunt May was shot. I forgot who did it, though.
Yeah, I don't remember who did it, but I know the story arc was called One More Day. And he literally makes a deal with the devil, Mephisto, which everybody has expected to see pop up in everything Marvel since WandaVision, I want to say.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everybody thought. More or less.
I fucking love that.
DC has Lucifer as a character.
I was just gonna say.
Yeah, they have Mephistopheles, one of the kings of hell.
How do I look this up?
And he literally, retcons people's memories to be like, oh yeah, no, you don't know who Spider-Man is, but it also cost him his his marriage with Mary Jane, and I think they had a kid? I don't know. I didn't get that far in Spider-Man.
Would Doctor Strange turn into Mephisto, since he kind of is saying, like you said, he kind of went to him and made a deal with him, and he kind of caused it, and Doctor Strange kind of caused a fucking mess, which I kind of have a beef with. I don't know if that's usually how his storyline goes, and it's on point, but the whole scene in Endgame, no, and was it not Endgame? I don't know, the first half of the last one, when Hulk is talking to
Doctor Strange.
No, what the fuck's the bitch's name?
Oh,
Doctor Strange's mentor.
Oh, the
all-knowing or something, right? What's her name? Anyway, when he was talking to her, she was like, "Oh, Doctor Strange said that? Well, yes, he's supposed to be the best of us. Here you go." And I was like, "Oh shit, Doctor Strange is the man. He's so strong. He's the strongest one." Like, she was just like, "Hell yeah, here, Doctor Strange said that. He's the best one. Here you go." And then now all of a sudden he's doing all this shit that's fucked up everything. It seems to not be going good.
Real quick housekeeping. It's the Ancient One.
Yes, the Ancient.
Okay.
There we go.
I don't know why I spaced on that so hard.
Yeah, me too. I was like, I know it.
Well, listen, Peter fucked up that spell, not Strange. Strange just didn't quite tell him. He just didn't quite tell him all the instructions of the spell.
Exactly. You gotta lock the door to your spell room so you don't have children running in the middle of it.
But also, Peter, as a character, just fucks up. Like, he's flawed, and that's why he's my favorite Marvel character.
Yeah, he has a lot of oopsies.
Yeah, he does.
It's like, oops. But he's got a heart of gold. I love that kid.
And oh my god, the redemption for the other two Peters from the other
Oh,
Yes.
universes.
So
Oh,
good.
I teared up, especially during that big dramatic save. Oh,
oh,
Oh no,
MJ
yeah.
stage. Yeah.
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 That got me, man. My brother's girlfriend, she did not get it. And I'm
Oh
like,
my
wow,
god.
you really missed out on that though, because everyone who had any kind of idea what was happening definitely felt that deep in their soul.
Yeah.
Because that is so sad. And I hate why'd they have to flash back to that scene like 2, 3 times in that goddamn movie? Ain't nobody got to see Gwen break her neck. Didn't they do that?
I
Didn't
don't
they
think they
That
flash
might be
did.
back
time.
to it at like
I don't.
once at least?
I don't think they have rights to show
Okay.
Sony
Yeah,
scenes.
they just
Maybe
like
I'm
alluded to it
thinking,
a whole bunch.
I'm probably just thinking of me watching a YouTube on it, and
The
they were
breakdowns.
probably flashing back to it like 3 times. I was like, stop. I know what it is. I don't need to see
Yeah.
it. That scene is so brutal.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well, I
But
mean, it was well made. Okay. It was real quick. It was well made. I liked the imagery in that moment. I mean, Gwen Stacy as a character, just her role is to die, unfortunately.
no.
Like she's basically Batman's parents for
Yeah.
well, that's Uncle Ben.
Oh. Oh no, that Spider-Man's just real sad, you know, because he's just like, yeah. So I went pretty dark after that.
Yeah, which is very reasonable, and I
Yes.
really appreciate that it wasn't just like, all right, Gwen's dead, I'm moving on,
Yes.
uh, and that redemption that
Yeah.
he got by saving MJ and then uh saving was it Connors? He cured him
Yeah,
Hmm.
and
Here Connors and
Electro,
yes.
or no, they subdued his powers, didn't they?
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure how to. I don't think there's a way to cure that guy.
Oh my
No,
god!
there. Well, no, there was like the what was
Oh,
it?
nullified his
The device.
completely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but didn't they like you gotta keep it on him though, right? You can just
No,
take it
Uh,
off.
no, they said it
no.
was permanent after the
Oh.
like all the lights lit up or something. It would be
Oh, that's right. That's right. That's right. I
Yeah.
was gonna say it was powering up or something, right? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, his whole scenario, that Spider-Man, he had a really good redemption and a really good just story and lessons to have to the younger Spider-Man of Tom Holland. And, it was really touching to talk to, oh my God, Tobey Maguire's Peter Pan, Spider-Man,
Peter
and,
Man.
hear a happy ending, and to know that he can have a happy ending too. Um, And yeah, I mean, it was just all really good.
I'm actually
And
very
sad.
very pissed, very pissed about the fan the fandom like feedback just from No Way Home actually.
Oh, hit
Just
me with it because
yeah.
I've only seen positivity.
Oh no, I've seen positive stuff, overwhelmingly positive stuff. But people now, what's it now, like 8 years later, are now begging for Amazing Spider-Man 3. Like,
Yeah.
where the fuck were any of you 10 years ago?
Okay,
Or like
look,
8 years ago, like when it was going to happen,
I do have
but it
thoughts on
didn't.
this.
Yeah.
So my beef with just about any movie is like 99% of the time it's the writing or the production and it's
Yeah.
never ever about the actors or the characters.
Yeah.
So I loved Andrew Garfield as like Spider-Man and Peter Parker because
Yes.
they're two different characters, first of all. But Sony, at least in the beginning, was dead set on making like an edgy, cool, young, hip Spider-Man, which like fine, I'll let that go, I guess. But he's an everyman. He's not like it's hard to describe. He was just like an emo teenager that could go skate in abandoned warehouses. That Peter before the spider bite was never that coordinated.
Mhm.
So it's just Sony was too dead set on making a cool movie, as opposed to making a good Spider-Man movie.
Well,
And
you could also
then,
think about it in a way of like if you're this nerdy, dorky, uncoordinated person and what's some of the things that you would want to do once you became this super coordinated, strong person? You might want to pick up skateboarding because you think it's cool and you've never been able to do it. And so you want to join a new thing or just not have anything to even do with social. You're just like, yeah, I've always wanted to skateboard. I just didn't have the ability to. And so now you do. So
well, no,
you
I'm
pick up
saying he did
skateboarding.
that before the spider bite.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah,
Okay. I
like
see what you're saying.
they could have sort of done what they did with Tobey Maguire and just kind of dorked him up, and then
Yeah, okay.
once the spider bite happened, let him be cool and suave and whatever.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
But
being an everyman is that just was teenagers in like 2011, like when the movie came out. Like that was just teenagers at the time. Any kid like that could have been any random white kid from Queens.
yeah,
I mean, that is true because I would say that the current Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man, is very with the times now as well, with
But that's because we
being the
haven't seen
nerdy
him
dork.
pre Spider Bite though.
this is true.
Yeah, but
But
I mean, even so, he still kind of takes on the persona of like the teenagers kind of today.
I feel like Tom Holland was one of the more comic accurate Spider-Mans, Spider-Man, in that like he doesn't have like a thing. He doesn't have anything other than school and Spider-Man. Like that's all he
Hmm.
really does. And juggling life as a superhero and a teenager. Everybody else, they wrote in some weird subplots with Peter's parents being spies in Amazing Spider-Man 2, which ties into the Ultimate Spider-Man stuff, but like that's not what you're here for. You're watching these movies for Spider-Man. You're not looking for, Peter Parker's parents, Agents of Shield.
Bitch, what you talking about? I was deaf psyched for that.
Oh, really? Even the deleted scene of his father showing up in the graveyard to talk to him while he's crying over Gwen's grave?
Yep.
I think Andrew Garfield destroyed that scene in a very positive way. He did an amazing job of conveying the like shock and anger of a presumed dead parent showing up, but
Yeah.
I think it was deservedly cut from the movie. Oh, and they had like a whole Batcave in the tunnel system under New York.
The heck?
That there's so much going on in Sony's Spider-Man movies that the Raimi movies was clearly just studio interference that got them canned. But
Well,
Yeah, it had
hold on. He
nothing
had
to do with the
three
actor.
successful movies. They were going to do four, then they didn't. Like I call that a good run. They had a good run. They had the trilogy.
yeah, well, 1 and 2 were great, and then 3.
No.
It's like it's fun and easy for people to make fun of Spider-Man 3, but looking at it from the perspective of Sam Raimi, who literally fought tooth and nail to not have Venom just shoved down people's throats the way Sony forced him to do, it would have been great. I mean, you've seen Spider-Man grow, and then you open the old wound of Sandman. I can't remember his like civilian name, but him
With the villain
possibly
name.
being the one that killed Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
Like that's a simple, grounded story that's still very emotional and well formed. Instead of, oh yeah, your parents are spies. they built this crazy subway Batcave for you. We don't know what a Batcave is, but we call it a Batcave.
To be
Well,
honest, now that you say Batman, that whole series was very much like kind of old school Batman to me, which I don't really like either because it's too unrealistic, I guess, like the kind of characters that they have. Because what, Tim Burton, he
Tim Burton.
directed the, first ones, and it's just not my cup of tea. It's too kind of crazy and out there
what,
and kind of
too
circusy
comic booky?
and cartoony.
Too comic booky for a
This is
comic book
why
fucking
this is
character?
I will
this is
say,
why I don't read them. I watch them, but but
the Tim Burton
the
one's
Amazing
very
Spider-Man
cool.
ones were just kind of hitting that vibe for me, where I'm like, oh, I don't know about this. It's a little too
Oh, whatever.
like goofy, and I mean, for me too, personally, I was like, I feel like this is too soon to the Spider-Man that we've all kind of attached to cinematically. And so that was like a different story for me. It's kind of like if Iron Man all of a sudden now is someone different than Robert Downey Jr. and they had
just
a new Iron Man run. I'd be like, what the fuck? This is way too soon. Don't give me a new Iron Man yet. Robert Downey Jr. is my Iron Man.
Yeah, and to tack on to that, I will support anybody that decides to walk out of Doctor Strange, Multiverse of Madness.
Whoa.
If Tom Cruise,
oh my god!
Oh yeah, yeah. I'll be so offended.
People are suspicious of.
I'll be so upset.
It might be interesting though.
I cannot get behind Tom Cruise in any aspect.
Listen,
I would.
listen, I'm just saying, like, just friend to friend, man to man. I'm just saying, you probably shouldn't say that out loud.
It's 2022, Jeff.
Come at me, bro.
No, I don't give a fuck.
I don't know. I've just said, like, because they have ears everywhere. They have ears and eyes.
The worst thing that they do is just follow people. Yes. Come on, Sam. Come on.
You think I'm going to get disappeared. But
yeah. I mean, Tom Cruise, like, there are two people in Scientology that have that power. Tom Cruise and John Travolta.
Let me make this very clear to any Scientologists that may be listening. I'm not afraid to die.
Okay, before we even go further, do you want to let's go mission statement here?
I still want to know what happened to Shelley Miscavige.
Oh, I don't. She's around.
Where is she, David? What'd you do?
He fucking dead.
But hey, people, you know what? That's not why we're here.
Nope,
I'm sure Sam could have his own podcast by himself where he talks about Shelley Miscavige a whole bunch.
I'll just yell at Scientology in general.
Maybe if he wants to, he can even talk about Terry Schiavo a little bit. If he wants
Every
to.
missing person for an hour, Sam's just like, where's this person? Where's this person?
Madison, you might be too young to remember this, but Terry Schiavo was a woman that was brain dead. She was a vegetable, and there was a big public debate as to whether or not it was humane to let her die.
Absolutely, it is.
Yeah.
Slash was.
If my odds are like below 50%, just cut your losses. Let me go. I got health insurance. You're taken care of, and I don't have to go to work anymore. So, win-win.
Yep.
All right. But I do want to get into why we're here, people. Mission statement. Mission statement.
Oh, we're way out of order.
Yeah, we are. And that's cool. So that's how we do things here. We're fun.
Yes.
Fun dad.
All right, take it away. Mission statement. What's going on?
Oh, yeah. Sam?
Oh.
Well, do we first just want to go over why we're interested? Why we want to have this podcast? Is that kind of where we're going with things right now?
Well, I think obviously calling it a mission statement is a bit more formal than what we have prepared.
Okay.
But I know that the three of us really like talking about all this. I got Jeff hooked up with some of my comics. We go back and forth about it a lot. in our group chat with our other friends, and I can tell no one else gives a shit. And I can see the little chat heads popping into our conversation and then disappearing. Like, they see, oh, they're talking about comics, they're out. So Jeff and I have a lot of back and forth about this. Madison asks me a lot of questions when movie season rolls around. So I figured,
Hey, I ask you questions outside of movie season 2.
oh yeah, no, this is fair. I'm sorry I minimized your
I'm very curious, and I like
inquisitive
to
nature.
I like to discuss all the stuff. It's just so much fun, and I'd rather discuss it with somebody who's like has extensive knowledge about all the different little poles and universes and takes instead of trying to read them all and keep it all together. I just will retain it way better and have a way better time just talking to it with my best bud.
Yes, please allow me to waste my life and my brain capacity on
And work time.
and work time. You
Absolutely.
bet. Yeah, I will waste all that time and brain capacity dedicating myself to comics so that
Yep.
people can ask me questions and I can go on hour-long rants and take up entire lunch breaks with tables full of coworkers who are just gobsmacked by my ability to actually myself for 45 minutes.
Which is so captivating, Sam. You keep everybody's attention. Everyone asks questions, even Mr. Old Mike. And, it's an adorable, great time. And I say adorable because our boss Mike is adorable. But anyway, I digress. And that is why we have this podcast. Because Sam can talk hours and Jeff can talk hours on it, and I can listen for hours.
Yeah, Jeff has very good takes. I have a depressingly large repository partition of my brain just dedicated to all things comic book, and Madison asks very good questions. So we figured we would record our conversations and hopefully make someone else feel like they're a part of that conversation and interact with us. We have Twitter accounts and Instagrams popping up. We might do a Discord server in the future to further engage people, but we'll get to all the plugs at the end of the show. And yeah, we're trying to have fun. We would like some more people to have fun with us. And yeah, do you guys have anything you want to say?
I do.
Go ahead.
Oh, surprise.
For me personally, just doing this, it's so like I've always been interested in comics, but they've always been sort of like intimidating to get into because there's so much lore behind which character you're doing or which character you're reading about or which like team up you want to get into or just which even universe that you want to like start reading about. And it's it can get daunting for some people, and that's why a lot of people don't even get into comics because there's just so much you don't know where to start. And if you ask someone, like if you like go and ask someone who might be like I mentioned before, one of the comic purists out there, they might either tell you something like, "Oh, you're already way too late to the game. Don't even worry about it," or they might give you a snooty response, or they might just tell you to like just go screw yourself.
We're looking at you, Reddit.
And it can be disheartening, and you have like a genuine interest, but the community with those same interests are very, very negative towards people who just want to know what you know, want to get into what you get into, and who want to like the characters that you like, but it's all the gatekeeping and the negativity and the fandoms that really make people
are bad to people. What?
Yeah, gatekeeping is a huge like occurrence in the comic book world. So
everybody wants to be. No, I know it all. I truly know it all.
It's not even that. It's like Madison, you're a girl. Like a lot of people would be like, "Oh, girls don't know. They just care about I don't know, Nightwing's butt."
Bitches and money. Oh.
I mean, Dick got a good butt though.
He's dragging a wagon. No debates.
That's a gymnast ass.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'm looking for violence, humor, uh,
All right, wait, hold on.
mind-blowing reality and space shit. That's what I'm here for.
All right, wait, hold on. I gotta finish my thing. Hold on.
Yes, go.
Yes, sorry. The rest of my thing is just that, hey, I'm interested in comics. I like the movies. I like comics. I don't really have stories that I dislike so much that people completely swear off of a character because of. I'm open-minded to a whole lot of shit. I'm mostly an anime dude, so that really so definitely manga was where I started reading comics actually. Even though my older brother had a lot of comics around the house growing up, but I never looked at them. Either way, I'm here to enter- entertain myself and educate myself, and also entertain and educate other people, and just say like, hey, it's okay not to be that super niche comic dude, and just be a guy with an interest, and hey, have some friends to talk about it with.
Yeah, and yeah, that's to kind of follow up on that. I don't know everything, and that is how I like it. I don't like to know everything about everybody.
Yeah,
I
it's
like
not
to
fun.
learn things as they come up. So we are building a list of characters that we're interested in and stories that would be associated with those characters. And I can tell you, based on what I'm looking at right now, we I'm gonna have a few questions myself.
Ooh.
I'm gonna be over here being the person with basically absolutely no knowledge to ask a bunch of ridiculous questions, but may be very helpful to people who just want to dip their toe into some, comic information and get to know it. Because not everybody has time to read all of the comics. And even if you do have some time to read and you love doing it, there's just so much. And there's so much intricacies, and it's always fun to learn people's ideas and takes. Because then you can be like, oh, you know what? I didn't think about that. And that's what I'm kind of here for. Ignorant, witty, questioning, person. Commentary. That's what I'm here for.
Exactly. You know what, Madison? You know all those dudes that are like, oh, girls don't read comics. Punch them in the face. And know who else you can punch in the face? All
Oh.
the dudes who they find out a girl reads comics, and like they specifically just bring that up, like, oh, never met a girl that reads comics before. It's pretty cool. Like, bro, why you got to bring that up?
You're not like other girls.
Oh my
I'd be
god.
like, I'm not like any one, bitch, okay? And also, if they said, oh, you don't read comics, I'd be like, you're fucking right. Because I don't. Except for this podcast, though.
I was gonna
When
say I
Jeff
have
and
some
Sam gives
very
me
important news.
recommendations, I will definitely read. There's just not as much, writing as I'm used to and reading books, so it's a little like you kind of gotta piece a lot of things together and really pay attention to the actual drawings to pick up some subtle hints here and there and emotions. So it's a learning thing, and I'm trying to get into it. And like Jess said, it can be very daunting and intimidating to dive into this. And I just way much more appreciate talking about anything. So that's kind of where I want to come in and be like, well, I like this take, even though I have no idea any history about this character. I thought this was really cool, just being somebody who knew nothing. And then, you guys could be like, well, you're absolutely wrong. This is how it's supposed to be. And I'd be like, okay, that makes sense. I like that better. Stuff
Hold
like
on,
that.
hold on.
You're hitting on some really philosophical notes here.
Yes, that's what I'm here for. Here for always.
Hold on. I do want to say that last point. Listen, I don't believe
Yes.
anyone could be wrong about most things. To say it's all fictional characters and fictional stories coming up out of
Well, it's all
nowhere.
art.
Whatever you take from it is what you take from it.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Oh, on that note, I wrote a term paper on Mr. Miracle last weekend and got a
Oh,
92
Holy shit!
for
nice.
my humanities
Only a
class.
92?
Yeah, I know. If I could get like a PhD in Mr. Miracleology, Mr. Miracleology, I don't know. In this book, I'd get it. I love it.
I'm really excited for our second episode of Mr. Miracle because I got to actually read it between the first episode and now, I finished it a little while ago and I'd have to, probably review my notes and get back up. But that's a good one. That's a really good first one, and I'm excited to get into it. I definitely had some questions. I think if I remember correctly, I was a little confused at the end, or just like, what? This is really how they ended it? You know, I felt some kind of turmoil and emotion, and I'm trying to remember what it is. Like, I look back at my notes, but I'm super excited for that second episode.
Oh, definitely me too. I loved reading the rest of Mr. Miracle after we had done the first episode. I'd never thought that I would see Darkseid eating a baby carrot. That was
He likes his veggie
phenomenal.
trays.
Like, and it was just that that whole story like completely blew me away. Like that's more like the stuff that I want to see when I like, look into comics. Just fun little,
Oh yeah.
I guess, self-contained stories, and that you don't have to go like fishing for a whole bunch of other different shit to go into.
Oh yeah, and it's one of the points that I made in my term paper is that it's a story about literal gods, celestial gods, that are way more human than the actual human beings that they interact with. And that is so much more of what I like in a story. I don't care about, Batman making a brass knuckle apparatus to punch Superman with. Like, I mean, that'd be neat. But
yeah,
I mean, it's just kryptonite.
But I'm talking about a well-written story, something that's formulated in a way that that builds character. I appreciate character development, I think. Yeah. Anyway, this episode should be out once we have all of our socials established. Please feel free to contact us at AKNF _ Comicast, COMICAST, on Twitter, and hopefully we'll get that Instagram handle. We don't know for sure yet. We'll get there.
Yes.
But yeah, give us recommendations for characters or books or anything that you might find interesting. We're very excited to interact with and build a community around this. So yeah, stick around, hit us up, and we'll do what we can to build and grow, and hope you stick with us.
Yes, please do. Come join.
yes,
Promise we're not a cult, even though we talked about Scientology.
Yeah, I'm very anti-cult.
And that Sam is possibly the reincarnation of LB.
Oh man,
L. Ron Hubbard.
If I am,
anyway.
I'm tearing that shit down. I'm burning it down. I'll be like, hey, I'm back, and I don't like this anymore, so get rid of it.
What?
I was just kidding.
You can reformat it. Like, hey guys, I'm back, and you know what? We're super into skee ball now. That's our thing.
Oh no, you know what, guys? We're really into the all killer, no filler Comicast now.
Yes, so... exactly.
Oh,
and then
God,
we can all be
awesome.
rich, and I don't have to work anymore, except for this lovely
you still
podcast.
Have to work.
No.
You definitely. I'm putting you out in the yard. You're doing something out there.
No, Jeff. This would never be work for me. I could do this all day, every day.
That's what I mean.
Do what you love, and you never work a day in your life.
That is fair. All right. Yes. So yes, let's get this off the ground so we can stop clocking in somewhere every morning.
Yes, please. Exactly. For the love of God. All right. So if anybody's really good at forging documents, hit me up, and I will assume the identity of L. Ron Hubbard, and we'll straighten the shit out.
Absolutely. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Cool. Do you
guys I will take all of our listeners to Chili's.
One by one.
You can mark my words on that. We're all going to a Chili's. We're gonna shut that shit down. In a good way.
In a sexual way? Like, I don't know. Don't answer
in
that.
A good way.
Yeah, but that's not an answer, and I'm okay with that. Let's leave it ambiguous. Do you guys have any closing statements does not. Oh,
Just think deep and hard.
Jesus Christ.
24/7.
Well, yeah, me being the the maverick, the single bachelor man of the pod. I'm now looking for mail order brides from Dublin, Ireland. So
Very
if
specific.
you are, yeah, well, I like the country.
Hey, I'm a big fan of accents, so I'm not disparaging you by any means.
Yeah, so yes, if you are a resident of Ireland, specifically Dublin, Ireland, why don't you go to Chili's?
See, now that's sexual.
How's that sexual? It's
Let's
dinner.
just say from
You're-
here on
no,
out,
the
any reference to
implication.
chili is sexual.
The implication is a 2 for $25.
No.
Yeah, and then whatever.
Two
If
for
it was
25
sexual, I'd
what,
say
Jeff?
Applebee's.
Just
2
2
for
for
25 what and
29.
where?
so you know, Jeff, a mail order bride, you have to pay for them.
Yeah, 2 for
Yeah, pay for the
25.
Chili's. Yeah, pay for the Chili's. It's 2 for $25. It's a deal.
No, you buy them. You buy a person, Jeff.
I don't want to. Oh
2
man,
for 25. That's a great deal.
probably shouldn't have said mail order bride then.
Yeah. You're looking for a green card marriage, which is kind of illegal.
And
What if
also
I love
expensive.
them?
Well, then that's just a marriage.
Yeah, that's a marriage.
All right, cool. So hey, whoever wants to from Dublin, Ireland, whoever wants to date me for free, you may have to share a house with 12 other women for 6 weeks
Oh
because
my god.
Ugh.
what?
What's going
It's The
on?
Bachelor.
Oh, it's
Oh
the
my
chili
God.
waiters and waitresses? Is that?
No.
Oh.
I could be the next Bachelor.
They have to be rich
Once we
for
get this
that?
pod off the ground, I could be the next Bachelor.
Okay, once we get the podcast. Okay, that makes sense.
Exactly. All right. Any closing statements from either of you moving on forward?
I
Or
thought we
I got
did.
into a whole thing.
Think deep, think hard. All the time. That's what I said. That's going to be my thing.
Think deep, think hard.
Think deep, think
All right,
hard.
so that'll be our
Be
first
consistent.
shirt. Oh my God.
Yes, think deep, think hard, baby.
I like
All
it.
right. Yeah, well, we'll leave you guys with those wonderful words of wisdom and a deep sigh. Talk to you guys soon.
Bye.
Good night.